Hey guys, LevelCap here. Today I've got an episode of Loadout, the series where you guys, the viewers, get to pick my gun and customization for each episode. The way you do this is you leave a comment down below letting me know what kind of weapon and accessories you'd like me to run with. Now we'll pick one of the top rated comments for the next episode. Today's top comment comes from LunkX. He says, Cowboy up Loadout, the 44 Magnum, assault class, ammo or squad sprint, desert map of your choice, play on hardcore server. That's optional. You are the new sheriff in town, so you go out on your daily patrol and encounter some bad guys. The bad guys think they can mock you just because you're new in town, but they regret that quickly once you pull out your 44 Magnum. Thanks for reading and keep up the good work, LevelCap. Now, generally speaking, I like to focus on loadouts that are realistic loadouts, or loadouts that people would actually want to use in Battlefield. Obviously, running with just the 44 Magnum is not necessarily realistic in that sense, but I did want to see how effective it could be on hardcore mode. Now, the reason for this is that the Magnum does 60 damage maximum. In hardcore, your health is lowered to 60 instead of 100, so that means that you have the potential of doing a lot of one-shot kills with the Magnum, provided that you're in 12 meters or closer when you hit your target. Now, one of the difficult things about using this was that even though I felt like I was shooting people in 12 meters or closer with body shots, I wouldn't drop them in one shot and then they would turn and waste me with whatever automatic weapon they had, and somebody else would come along and kill them and I would get 100% damage assist. I think throughout the course of recording this loadout footage, I got maybe 20 100% damage assists. So that was pretty aggravating, and it's just this sort of fine line of like, you often engage opponents right at that maximum damage drop off distance, so you'll do like 99% damage to them or almost 100% damage to them, and then you won't actually get the kill. So that can be super aggravating. On the other hand, it does feel incredible running around with a Magnum and being able to drop people using AEKs and M5Ks on hardcore with just one body shot. I think a lot of people just aren't expecting it, not expecting to just be dropped in one single shot, let alone from a pistol. And it is really funny to play in servers where you end up actually dominating the scoreboard just using the Magnum. Now, hardcore mode really does give the Magnum an advantage in the sense that you can drop a lot of people in one shot with body shots. But the disadvantage is that you don't have your hipfire reticle anymore, your hipfire crosshairs, which really does help in close quarter combat. If somebody surprises you, you're going to need to hipfire your opponent, and without those crosshairs in the center of the screen, it can sometimes be very difficult to zoom in on your opponent, and I ended up missing a lot of shots trying to hipfire people that way. Also, you don't have a reading on your ammo counter, so you really do have to count your shots while you're firing so you make sure you don't run out. Now, the big Achilles heel of the Magnum, along with any other semi-automatic weapon in this game, is suppression. If you get suppressed in this game, you can just kiss any hopes of hitting your opponent goodbye. It's going to be almost impossible. It's mostly just going to be aggravating to try, so if you get suppressed, I recommend retreating and only engaging somebody at absolute point-blank range, where suppression hopefully will still allow you to hit your target. But that's something that was just very difficult, and if you join servers that were too highly populated and there's too many bullets flying around, you would just get suppressed too frequently and rendered completely useless. Now, the silver lining here is Battlefield 4. The suppression system in Battlefield 4 is going to be much more manageable, so running a Magnum in hardcore mode in Battlefield 4 seems like it could be a much more realistic prospect, or running a Magnum in any sort of game mode. Now, suppression shouldn't affect you quite as much. Sure, you're going to have gun sway, but if your reticle is lined up on your target and you fire, it should hit. Now, generally speaking, in normal mode, when I play, I often try and aim down sights when I come around corner, or at least have my weapon ready to fire when I'm coming around corner. Never sprint around corners in Battlefield unless you're, 99% sure that there isn't a bad guy there. However, in hardcore mode, basically, I have to come around all corners with the iron sights up because I don't have that hipfire reticle anymore, so I can't kind of hipfire come around corners. I have to make sure I'm aiming down sights. You'll notice that I just aim down sights constantly with this weapon. It seems to be the only way that I can actually be prepared to deal with enemies. Now, if you do happen to get the drop on people like I did there, as you can see, the Magnum can make very quick work of them. It's not to say it can make quicker work of them than I could have with an M16, but it is still kind of cool to see you drop, 6 potential bad guys with 6 shots from a Magnum. I mean, it's an impressive scene, and it also makes your opponents feel pretty bad when they realize that you just squad wiped them with a Magnum. Now, something to consider in hardcore mode is that when you shoot somebody at medium range and you don't kill them in one shot, you can at least know that they're probably seeing things in black and white because you've done so much damage to them that they're just barely hanging on by a thread. So it's going to be much more difficult for them to target acquisition you and return fire. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, it happens all the time, but at least you can take that and use it to your advantage, knowing that your enemy is going to have a hard time seeing you or seeing anything for that matter. Now, obviously, as I mentioned before, the huge benefit of using the Magnum on hardcore is being able to one-shot your opponents in close quarters with body shots. You no longer have to take your time and aim for the head, which is very difficult to do when things are moving super fast in close quarter combat, which is what made the Magnum such a difficult but rewarding weapon in normal mode. Now, long range though, you are going to have to aim for the head if you want that one-shot kill, and that is one nice thing about the Magnum in hardcore. No matter what distance you're at, as long as you hit somebody in the head, it's going to be a guaranteed one-shot kill. Can't say the same thing about it on normal mode. So as long as you take your time, if you see somebody at long range that's trying to snipe somebody, or for whatever reason they're standing still, line up your shot, aim for the head, and you don't have to worry about chasing them down for that second shot. Now, if you're playing on a server where the minimap is off, that is an option that was implemented to hardcore mode a little bit later in Battlefield's development. It basically means that you can fire this thing and not have to worry about everybody in the world coming to your location. Sure, players with good sound systems can kind of hear the shots, maybe see their teammates go down on their map or on their screen and try and figure out where your position is, but for the most part, if you play very stealthy, very cautiously, you can end up in a lot of situations where you're able to fire on your opponent first, which again, due to suppression, is it's a necessity if you're going to get any kills with this weapon, is to spring the trap on your opponents. Don't try and go in on a one-on-one firefight where they're expecting you, you're expecting them. You want to be in a place to surprise your opponents. So that pretty much wraps it up for the Magnum Hardcore Loadout. Thanks for the comments, and also remember to leave your comments down below letting me know what you would like me to run with for the next episode of Loadout. As always, thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap, signing off.